Hello friends, we will cover potential, potential difference, potential point, line, area, volume, potential energy, potential at axial, potential at the equatorial line, potential at general point, on conducting shell and due to sphere. An electric potential is the amount of work needed to move a unit of charge from a reference point inside field without producing acceleration. This also means that electric charge has different strength of electric field at different points. In this example, let's say charge Q, this is the charge Q, is the electric charge. As we keep going further from the charge, the potential to do work decreases. The electric potential at a point located far away from the charge is taken to be zero. Let's take an example of a spring which is not compressed. Say the spring is open till this point. Okay. From the normal position of the spring, when we start compressing and reach the point D, we have compressed and reached the point D. The distance traveled from the normal position from here all the way to this point is say 10. Now we further compress the spring till C and see the distance is 20 from the original position. The distance from here to here is say 20. Work done, we know the formula is equal to force into distance. That is force into 10 for this case. And work done for C point will be force into 20 because the distance is 20. Here the position C will have more energy to do work comparatively as to do, it will have about 20 joules of energy to do the work. Similarly, we press further to point B, then all the way to C, all the way to A. So what happens? It will have about say 40 joules potential to do work. So we can say potential points A, B, C, D are the addresses of the electric field with different potentials. Let me explain this again to you. Now if you take a pencil or a pen, there's a small spring that comes, the ball pen. You take that. Now when you press it very hard and leave it, it has more energy to do work. We're talking about the same thing, that these points, in case you press it, compress it hard, it will have more energy, and at the point say A will have the maximum, and at the point D as comparatively will have lower energy because less work has been done to bring from here to this point. Okay, these are the addresses of the potential. The potential difference between 2 points in an electric field may be defined as the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge from one point to the other against the electrostatic force, or we can say potential difference between the 2 points in electric field is equal to work done for carrying a unit charge from one point to another. The SI unit of potential difference is volt, and the volt is 1 joule by 1 coulomb. Okay, this is the master formula that you must note down, for which is the four formulas for the potential difference. This also will give you a potential difference. The formula here will also give you a potential difference, and here as well, and so will this. So slowly we will derive all of them. Now work done from point B to A can be written as charge into potential at point A and potential at B. So this is potential at A minus potential at B into the charge can be written as work. So maybe out of these two values, suppose we take this formula, in this maybe work done, how much work done is been asked, and the values for Q, VA, VB is given to you. So in numericals you will have questions like these coming up where you can equate any of them together. Work done is also equal to force into distance. The formula for force is charge into electric field, and the distance can be written as dr. Therefore, we can write this, we can bring this Q down here. So which part we have derived? Work by charge. This formula is derived from here. E dot dr, that is electric field into the distance from point A to B, is derived here. And this negative sign indicates that the this is opposite to the electric field. The potential increase towards left and opposite to the electric field. Okay, moving on. So this, we are deriving this fourth formula here now, this part on the next slide. We will learn the term line integral first. Line integral of electric field between 2 points depends upon position of 2 points and it is independent of its path. Therefore, let's say if we have points A and B, even if it is following a long path, integral depends on the distance, the shortest distance, and is independent of the path that it has followed. So this is line integral. Okay. Now here in this figure, we take a charge, say Q, and a test charge, a small charge here, which is a test charge, we place it here. The amount of work done to carry this test charge from B to A is in the electric field created by charge Q. So this Q charge has created an electric field and we are trying to bring this charge against the electric field down. So how much work it's going to take? What is the basic formula for work done? That is force into distance. And what is the basic formula for force that we have derived earlier from Coulomb's law? It's Q into Q by 4 pi epsilon r square. Here r is replaced by the total distance x and Q. What is Q? It's the capital Q here, which is the main charge which is creating the electric field, and the test charge is written here as Q. Where are we bringing it from? B to A. So the integration here. Okay. And where is this coming from? X minus 2. X minus 2, because this is x square. So when we bring it up, it will become x minus 2. These all elements, Q by Q, 4 pi epsilon naught being constant, we can bring them out. This x minus 2 multiplied by dx. This is the dx which is coming here. Now when we substitute the limits A to B, now, you remember the formula how we have solved this? X minus 2. X minus 2 can be solved like, you know, remember this formula, xn equals to xn plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So we are going to use this normal integration formula, which is going to be used many times. So we are going to use that formula and we write r minus 1 by minus 1. From then we are going to open this up and the upper limit comes first. So it's going to be 1 by Ra minus 1 by Rb. Okay. So this is potential difference formula. And we have also derived, you have to note down all these other formulas for potential difference as well. So this is potential A minus B. Then this is the work done formula that we have just derived here. And this is the, again, the other part of the formula that we have derived from here. This part we have just, this is the formula that we have derived. Okay. Now here, consider a positive charge capital Q. So this is the charge Q and a test charge of point charge, say small charge which is placed here. Okay, and we are trying to actually bring it from, by definition, the potential at a point P will be equal to the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to point P. Okay, so what work will it be done to bring the charge from infinity all the way to point P? This is what we are calculating this. This will actually become the point charge. Now here if you see, the same formula for work which we have used previously, previous slide. So the limits A to B, the B limit, A limit is R, that is this distance. Now B limit is actually infinity. So when we bring it from infinity, upper limit minus the lower limit, so we are left with this formula, which is the potential for a point charge. Okay. So this is the formula that you can note down for the point. In case we are using not for the point, we are using for the line potential, then the Q has to be replaced by lambda dl. Okay. In case it is area potential, then for area, instead of Q, we have to write sigma ds. In case it's a volume potential, then we will write rho dV by R. So the formulas remains the same. Just for the line, we are going to write lambda dl. For area, it will be sigma dA ds, or maybe sigma area. Okay, and volume potential will be rho dV. That is volume. Okay. Now potential is denoted by V. There are symbols, similar, like we have velocity, then we have we are using for potential as well. So don't get confused, but this V is representing potential here. So potential formula for point is V equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught by R, and the symbol for potential energy is U. And what is the formula for energy? Energy is equal to the charge into the potential. What is the basic formula for potential? This formula. Now when we multiply this with Q, the energy formula will become this element. So this is the energy formula. U is equal to Q by Q 4 pi epsilon naught R. Now here in this case, potential due to a system of charges is shown here. Here we consider a system of charge, say Q1, Q2 and Q3, and they are at the distance positional at R1, R2 and R3. So the total potential energy due to a system of charge here will be, that's what we are trying to calculate. For U1, say it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 by R12. This is the formula that we are applying here. So for U1, similarly the same formula for U2 is being applied, and similarly for the charge potential energy for charge 3, U3. So adding all these up by superposition, we get that we can put them all together. This is the common element outside and the rest together. Now potential at the axial and equatorial line. Now we take a dipole with a distance 2L. So this is a dipole minus Q and plus Q. So what is a dipole? We have explained this earlier in when we were doing the electric field dipole axis. So here again, plus Q and minus Q are two equal and opposite charges with a distance 2L apart, and we are taking a test charge which is kept here at point P. We are trying to find out what is the potential at this point P. The distance from point P all the way to the center is R. Therefore, the distance from plus Q charge to point P will be R minus L. So this is R minus L, and the distance from P all the way to minus Q will be R plus L. So in the general formula, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, we are just replacing the distance. One will be Q by R plus 1 and one will be R minus 1. So the net potential here, when we add them up, taking out the common Q by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by R minus 1, and the other one, when we are adding them up, we will get the numerator and denominator by LCM, keeping 2QL. We are taking 2QL as the momentum, and we can write it as P. So ignoring the element L because it's very small, potential at the axial can be written as P by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. Okay, now in the other part, we will be taking out the potential to measure the potential at the equatorial. We are taking a point perpendicular to the dipole axis through its center. This is the dipole axis. From its center, we are taking a point right here, and we are trying to find out what is the potential at this point. The distance from the center to the dipole is R. This distance from here to here is R. The distance from point charge M, where the point charge is kept, all the way to positive charge will be root R square plus L square by the Pythagoras theorem. Similarly, the distance between this point where the test charge is kept all the way to negative charge will also be R square plus L square. Now here, when we substitute the value in our general potential formula, which is the point formula, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Instead of r square, the distance between the charge and the test charge is this. When we substitute the values, one being negative charge and one being positive charge, when we add these two up, the net potential will be 0 on the equatorial line. Potential due to dipole at any general point shown in the orange color in the picture here. This is the point where we have kept a general test charge, and this is the dipole, minus q and plus q. This is the picture also showing you the distance is 2L. From here to the center is L, and from here the center is L. The total distance from C to M, from this to this part, is say R, and this is with an angle theta. Okay, so what we have previously always done is we have always calculated the distance between the dipole charge, say minus q, to the test charge. We have always calculated minus q all the way to the test charge. We need this distance, and we need plus q to this distance where the test charge is placed. So we need two distances, MB and AM, in terms of the common factors R, L and theta. Okay, so what will be the value of this AM and MB? We are trying to derive that. To write the distance AM in terms of R, L and theta, we will extend this MC all the way to E. Okay, and draw a perpendicular from this point E to A. We will draw a perpendicular here. This is 90 degree. Okay. Now we note that this is an isosceles triangle. Which is an isosceles triangle? AME becomes an isosceles triangle wherein this AM is equal to ME. So if we know the value of ME, then we will know the value for AM as well. The value for MC is known as R. We have to find out the value for this element CE. Now in this, we know this angle is making theta, the general point. Similarly, being opposite, so this will also be theta. Now since this is theta, this is L. So cos theta here will be, if you see CE and L. So what can we write? CE will be equal to L cos theta. From this triangle, we can write, it will be this. Let me try to explain it again. Here angle M, consider angle MCB. Okay, no, one second. Consider angle ACE. In this angle, what is cos theta? What is cos theta? Cos theta will be CE by L. So what will be the value of CE? CE can be written as L cos theta. So if we add up this L cos theta plus R, this will be the value for ME. If this is the value for ME, similarly, being an isosceles triangle AME, the value for AM will also be R plus L cos theta. That is how we have derived this. Now, to take out the value for MP. Okay. Now here again we will draw a perpendicular from B point to this point here, and we will name it as N. Now the line MN is equal to MB. If we know the value for MN, then we will know the value for MB, since they are isosceles triangle and this will be equal. So here in this triangle NCB, the value for NC will also be L cos theta, because this value from the center to this half is L. So this will be L cos theta, this value, N to C. Now we can write the total value was R. So the value from M to N will be R minus L cos theta. Similarly, we can say MB will be r minus L cos theta. So now we have both the distances. This was important part to understand how we have derived to r plus L cos theta and r minus L cos theta. So these are the distances from the negative charge all the way to the test charge, r plus L cos theta. And the distance from the test charge to the positive charge is r minus L cos theta. So when we substitute these values here, what is the general formula for the potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, right? So when we put this value here, r minus L cos theta and r plus L cos theta here, when we add them up, taking q by 4 pi epsilon naught outside, mathematically solving this equation, then we will have 2ql cos theta by 4 pi r square. Now 2ql can be written as momentum. So it will be p cos theta here, the remaining part, and 4 pi epsilon naught. So what are the three formulas that we have derived for potential? The three formulas is potential for the axle is p by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, that you can note down. Potential here will be for the equatorial line will be 0, and for the general point this will be the potential. Okay. So this is very important. Please note these down. So these will come, maybe can come as a derivation, even can come as some numerical questions. Okay. Now we'll be covering up potential due to charge on conducting shell. So from electric field, I have explained you what is a shell there. So a shell is basically a sphere in which it's hollow from inside, it's empty, and there is no charge. So all the charges are on the surface. So that's the basic difference between a shell and a sphere. So here, when the point charge is outside the shell, the derivation and the formula will be same as potential of point charge. That is, potential equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Okay. In second case, when small r is equal to capital R, that is, point is on the surface, the rest of the formula remains same as point charge. Potential except small r is replaced with capital R. So this becomes the formula in case the test charge is placed on the surface. Okay. Now for the third part here, we know electric field inside a shell is 0. We know that electric field inside a shell that we have derived already is 0 because it is hollow, because it's empty from inside. There is no change in the potential. Now understand this part. Potential is not 0, but there is no change in the potential. Potential is constant. So we will say V is constant. So here if you look in the graph, now the potential is constant in case 3. This is when the test charge is placed inside, it is constant. And it is when the charge is outside, it is potential is inversely proportional to R. How we are getting this formula? This is where we are getting potential is inversely proportional to R. So it can be written as, drawn as this form. Okay. Potential due to sphere. We will consider 3 cases when the point is inside, outside, and on the sphere. So potential in case it is outside, it will be V equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. That is same as the point charge derivation. Again, when the point is on the surface, the small r is equal to capital R in that case. So we will replace the small r with capital R. In the third case, the electric field inside a sphere is not 0, just like shell. In shell it is 0, but in sphere it is not 0. We have already derived the electric field inside, and the value that comes out to be is rho r by 3 epsilon naught, right? So the formula for potential is electric field into dr. Here, so we will write down putting it in this formula, this value rho r 3 epsilon naught here into dr, integrating and finding out the value. This is what we derive. This is the value that comes out for the potential when due to a sphere when it is in the test charge is placed inside. Why is it negative? Negative sign indicates when R will increase, then potential V will decrease. Due to this negative sign, the shape of this part of the graph is also bulging. So potential is directly proportional to R square here. And the negative sign is indicating when R will increase, then potential V will decrease. Okay. And here if you see this part, similar like shell, potential here is when it's placed outside, the test charge is placed outside, it is inversely proportional to R. So here that's coming from this element. Okay. Now equipotential surface. By definition, an equipotential surface has a constant value of potential for all points. Here in this picture, we have taken a charge Q. The potential at a radius R1, say this is the radius R1, here also is the radius R1. The potential at this point Q by R1 will be same, equipotential at this point when the radius is same, Q by R1. Similarly, the potential, if we are taking another concentric circle further, which is R2, the equipotential here, Q by R2 will be same as when the radius is same, the Q by R2. In case we are taking a line charge, then we have to draw concentric cylindrical surfaces. The distance between this point, say if we place the test charge here and we place the test charge here, then these 2 points, both points will have equipotential. They have equal potentials at these 2 points. And in case we draw another concentric cylinder, then this distance R2 is same as this distance R2, then these 2 points will have equipotential. In case we take plates, the distance between this and this, these are parallel plates. So the distance between this point and this point and this are same. So these 2 points here and here will have equipotential. Similarly, the distance from this element is R2 all the way here. Similarly, this distance is R2. So the potential here and here will be equipotential. I hope this potential chapter is clear to you and this was helpful. Thank you.